Hi there, I'm Kathy Barker from Software Solutions, and I want to have a look at Microsoft Copilot in conjunction with Microsoft Outlook. Now, one of the most useful features I find with Copilot and with email is drafting email content, whether that's using the desktop version of Outlook or the web version or even using Outlook on my phone. Let me show you. So I'm going to create a new email, and when I'm in a new email, what I notice on the message tab in the ribbon is there's this Copilot button here, and if I click it I have the option of drafting with Copilot. So often I can't quite think of how I want to word or how I want to put together the content of an email. So if I choose draft with Copilot, I can basically tell it what I want this email to say and it'll create content for me. So in here I'll simply craft a prompt. Let's say I want the team to know what we decided about using PowerPoint for our slide deck. And then I'll click the Generate button. Microsoft Copilot goes about drafting content. And here we are here. It has crafted the content with regards to what I said. If I don't quite like this version of the draft, I can click the Regenerate button and regenerate another version. Now I can see at the top I've got two versions. I can move to the first version and move to the second version. And if I'd like to change something, add that we will be having a meeting about this on Friday. And so I'll regenerate again. So it's recrafted the content of the email, but it's also added the fact that we will have a meeting about this next Friday. I've got three versions that I can move between. I can click back up here and I can completely change the entire question. When I click generate, it will create a new draft. And here I can see I've got four versions of the email. Besides moving between the versions and going back and editing your original prompt, you also have the option to tell Microsoft with a thumbs up that you like what Copilot gave you in terms of feedback, or you dislike what Copilot gave you. And so this is a way that we can teach Copilot what's acceptable and what's not. We can also adjust if we click this button and make this email content longer, shorter, more formal, more casual, or more direct. We can discard completely this draft or this whole entire generated text, or I can move between the version I'd like to keep and simply click the keep button. From here I can review what it's put together and then ultimately send. So one of the best things about Copilot is its ability to help you draft or craft an email. One of the great things about Copilot also is its ability to coach you. If I've actually written an email, I might select all or part of the text, and if I select the text and go to the Copilot button and ask it to coach me, then it will come back and give me feedback with regards to things such as tone, reader sentiment, and clarity. You could be more engaging, and so it'll give me some suggestions in that area. I could be more user focused, and it'll give me suggestions in that area. Or I could actually add more clarity and be more specific with my particular content. So when you're replying or creating an email, do have a look up here at Copilot for drafting and coaching. Often when you have an email that's gone back and forth and there's quite a thread of communication, it's a good thing to actually use Copilot to summarize what's been going on with that email. For example, when I open this email in the top right corner, there's a Copilot button called Summarize, and I'm going to click this button. Copilot will go through the email, summarize all the key points that have transpired so far. I can then copy that summary, put it into a Word document, put it into a Teams chat, do whatever I like with it, but it's basically summarize what's gone on back and forth in that thread of emails. Or I can completely hide the summary by clicking the X in the top right corner. Now sometimes we want to chat with Copilot, and we can do this in Outlook. We can do it because we have a question, or we want it to do something for us. On the left-hand side of Microsoft Outlook, you've got a collection of buttons. And here, for example, is my Copilot button. Now, my Copilot button is there because I've gone into more apps and I actually chose Copilot in the collection of apps I had in here. Let me show you. If I unpin this Copilot button and I go into more apps, I can now find the Copilot button, right click it, and I can pin it. So now it will permanently stay on the left hand side of my screen, and I like to drag it up and put it towards the top. So I just lift it and pop it here. Now whenever I want to chat with Copilot, I simply click this button. I've got some prompts here to give me some ideas. If I hold my control key and move the mouse wheel towards me, I'll reduce the magnification. And if I hold the control key and move the mouse wheel away from me, I increase the magnification. So find a comfort spot. But these are the types of Copilot prompts you could use. You could say, when's my next meeting with a certain person? Or help me prepare for a certain meeting. Or give me a bulleted list or key points from a certain file. These are the sorts of things you can actually click and then continue to finish in here. So when I click this prompt, when's my next meeting with, the slash that appears has brought up a list of people that I can choose from. So I can say my next meeting with Kathy Barker. And then I just simply send. And here it is here. Here's my next meeting with Kathy Barker. And I can actually go to that meeting and check it out. If I click New Chat, I go back to where I started. Perhaps I want some help preparing for a meeting, so I'll click this prompt. And again, the slash comes up and I can choose which meeting rather than which person I want help with. So maybe this meeting. And I simply send this option. Copilot goes through, gives me the details about the meeting, the agenda for the meeting, any related emails that I can then click on. It also gives me any related files that I can click on as well. If I go New Chat, I go back to where I started. So you can see how these prompts are actually really useful, and you just simply complete the prompt. Or I could ask a question. Then if I press slash, I can choose a person, a file, a meeting, or any emails that I want to then summarize the key points about. I can even upload if I want to upload some files, for example. If I choose this file and then I choose send, that's exactly what Copilot will do. So really powerful to have chats with Copilot. And then I'll choose New Chat. Create your own messages. Use the slash to refer to specific files, people, meetings, or emails. Have a look at view prompts. You'll find that there are a lot of prompts in there besides the 6 that you see by default. These will give you ideas. Have a look at my video about creating effective prompts, because really that is the key to Copilot. The skill to be able to craft a clear, effective, well-defined prompt means you'll get clear, well-defined responses from Copilot. You can also attach files simply by using the paperclip to attach any content that you want to add to your prompt. You are allowed up to 16,000 characters when you're writing your prompt, so give it as much detail as possible so that you get a good answer from Copilot. Now let's have a look at Outlook with the new version of Outlook. In the top right corner here, I can just turn the slider to on. It'll restart Outlook, and I'm now dealing with the new version of Outlook. Still have the button for Copilot on the left-hand side if I want to have a chat with Copilot. I can still switch back to the classic view of Outlook just by moving the slider back to the left. But let's have a look at creating a new email. Maximize. Here's your Copilot button here, and you can still draft and you can still ask for coaching from Copilot. Let me close this email. What you'll notice in the new version of Outlook though is you've got this Copilot button sitting in the top right of your screen. And if I click this button, it actually brings up the Copilot chat panel on the right hand side. And this is another way that you can ask it to help you plan a particular event or out of office or meeting, help you organize your inbox, help you understand, or even ask a question. For example, to the bottom here, if I view prompts and I go to understand, the types of things that fall into understand is catch up with any unread emails if you've been away. What should be on my radar from emails last week? Do I have any action items from any unread emails today? And summarize my upcoming meetings for the next 2 days. So understand is very powerful in this respect. But if I go back and say, let's look at do, then do is more about creating an email that you want to draft for a certain person about a certain something. But if I go into ask, then what can you do? Or who are my top collaborators, or top tips, asking questions of Copilot. You can often learn, it's almost like a help facility, just by asking Copilot, how do I turn on my out of office? How do I do a quick reply? How do I do a rule? You can ask Copilot now to teach you how to use Outlook. You've also got the option schedule as well, where you can schedule, and you've got catch up as well. What is the latest on a particular project, or summarize messages where I've been mentioned this week. So various prompts you can choose from here as well as up here, and as well as crafting your own. You can also ask Copilot to do certain things. So I might say to it, look, apply the development category to all emails from Marie, and that's exactly what it will do. Or mark emails from Marie as high priority, and it will do that as well. So you can actually ask it to do certain things, and it'll take you to where you create a rule or create a quick step and actually carry out those tasks. I can collapse and expand the pane just by clicking this button here, and I can close it by hitting the X, and I can simply bring it back up by clicking this button here. I also have a chat history that I can go back to and look at anything that I've been questioning, and I can delete that history or delete all Copilot history. I can start a new chat just by clicking this button, but I'll just go back and I'll just simply close the Copilot chat pane. If you have an email open in the latest version of Outlook, you will find that there's this button, Schedule with Copilot. And if I click this button, it actually reads the email and enables me to create a meeting. It will automatically fill in the title. It'll automatically ask everybody to attend that was in that email thread. It will decide on a date and a time that I can then modify. And it will also create an agenda and a summary of the conversation so far that I can insert based on that email. I can then just make any refinements in terms of the date, the time, etc., and inserting that content, and simply hit send, and I've created a meeting invite to all of those involved in that email thread, which summarizes and creates an agenda of what we need to talk about so far. Extremely powerful and useful. So I hope you've enjoyed that little insight into Copilot with Microsoft Outlook. Use it to draft emails and content responses or new emails. Use it to coach you to improve your content and improve your emails. Use the Copilot chat either up here or on the side here. Ask questions, get it to do things for you, involving people, meetings, emails, files. Extremely powerful. I hope you've enjoyed this introductory video. My name is Kathy Barker. Ka kite.